A ruthless hitman rescues a pregnant girl from her abusive mother, but as he protects her, he uncovers a shocking truth that changes everything. The room was dark, except for the glow of neon lights outside. The city never slept. It pulsed with life and danger. Nick, a hitman with a reputation, leaned back in his chair. He wore a black suit, sharp and clean. His eyes scanned the street below. He knew the game. He was powerful. No one crossed him without consequences. Across town, Mia sat on a worn-out couch. Her mother's shouts echoed through the thin walls. "You're worthless!" she screamed. Mia rubbed her belly, feeling the baby kick. She was scared and alone, but there was fire in her eyes. She wasn't going to let her mother control her anymore. She took a deep breath, ready to fight back. Nick's phone buzzed, a text from his boss. "Get the girl. No exceptions." He pushed his chair back and stood. This was just another job. He had no emotions about it. But something tugged at him. The thought of a vulnerable girl, pregnant and in danger, sparked his interest. He wanted to know more. He slid on his jacket and headed out the door. Mia grabbed her bag and slipped out the back entrance. She heard footsteps behind her. Her heart raced. "Mia!" It was her mother. Panic shot through her. She darted into the alley, desperate to escape. She needed a way out. A plan formed in her head. Maybe she could find someone to help her. Nick drove through the city, the engine humming. The streetlights blurred as he sped past. He had a picture of Mia on his phone. She looked tired, but fierce. It stirred something inside him. This girl was more than just a target. He felt a strange pull. Maybe this time was different. Maybe she could be more. Mia spotted a black car parked at the end of the alley. She hesitated for a moment. Then she saw a man step out. He looked strong, confident. Her instincts screamed to run. But something held her back. She had to know if he could help her. As she took a step forward, their eyes locked. A silent understanding passed between them. The dangerous world around them seemed to fade away. This was the moment that could change everything. He thought he was in control. He wasn't. Mia took a cautious step toward Nick. He stood tall, a serious look on his face. "Are you okay?" he asked, scanning her for danger. She shook her head. "No, my mom, she wants to hurt me. I need to get out of here." Panic laced her voice. Nick felt a spark of urgency. This wasn't just a job. It was a chance to protect someone. "I can help you," he said, his tone steady. He reached for his phone. "But first, I need to get you somewhere safe." Mia's eyes widened. "You're not going to take me back to her, are you?" "No," he replied firmly. "I'm not like that. I work for someone who has a contract on you. But I want to change that." She took a step back. "What do you mean? Why are you here?" "I was sent to make sure you're taken care of. But I have my reasons. We'll make a deal. You trust me, and I'll keep you safe." It was risky. A contract on her life could easily make him her enemy. But something in her gaze pulled him in. "Why should I trust you?" Mia asked, crossing her arms. "You're a hitman." He sighed, knowing he had to convince her. "I know I'm not a good guy, but I want to help. Let's get out of this place together. You can fight back, but you need me." Mia hesitated. The city felt heavy, suffocating. She wanted to believe him. "What's the catch?" she finally asked. Nick stepped closer. "No catch, just a promise. Help me keep you safe, and I'll help you find a new life. But we need to move now, before your mother finds us." Mia felt the weight of his words. This was her moment. She nodded slowly. "Okay, let's go." Nick felt a rush of hope. Maybe this was the new beginning they both needed. But as they turned to leave, a loud shout echoed from the alley. It was her mother, wild and furious. They had to run, but this was only the start. Nick grabbed Mia's hand and pulled her toward the street. "We need to move," he urged. But she stopped, planting her feet. "Wait, you can't just drag me around like I'm some kind of property." Her voice was sharp, eyes blazing. "I'm trying to help you," Nick replied, frustration creeping into his tone. "You think I want to play games? Your mother is coming for you. We don't have time to argue. He was used to giving orders, but this girl was different. She wasn't afraid to push back. He kept his voice low, careful with each word. "Say it straight," he said. "No games." A small silence cut the tension. "Help? You mean like a hitman helps his target?" Mia shot back, pulling her hand from his grip. "I don't need you or your kind of help." There was fire in her stance. She wasn't going to back down. She answered fast, then fell quiet. "I'm not afraid," she replied. "Not tonight." He chose the next words with care. Nick stepped closer, lowering his voice. "I'm not here to hurt you. I'm here to keep you alive. You need to trust me." He wasn't used to feeling this way. The tension between them was thick, almost electric. It annoyed him and attracted him all at once. He moved first, not giving anyone time to think. He checked the room and kept his back to the wall. She shook her head and took a step closer. Mia shook her head. "Trust is earned, not given. Who says you'll keep your promise?" She took a step back, keeping her distance. Nick hated that she was questioning him, but he admired her spirit. This wasn't going to be easy. She stood her ground, eyes steady. She watched his hands, not his smile. They held eye contact. Neither blinked. "Look," Nick said, softer now. "I can show you a way out. But you have to listen. I won't let anything bad happen to you." He held her gaze, trying to convey sincerity. "So, what's it going to be? Fight or flight?" The city buzzed around them, but all he saw was her. Mia hesitated, torn between fear and something else, maybe even hope. She was about to cross a line. Mia took a deep breath, trying to steady herself. "Okay, let's say I trust you for a moment. What's the plan?" She crossed her arms, still wary. "I'll get you out of here," Nick said. "But there are rules." He leaned closer, lowering his voice. "First, you don't mention my job to anyone. Not now, not ever." "Why not?" She shot back, frowning. "That sounds shady." "Because I don't want you to be a target," Nick replied, his tone serious. "If anyone knows I'm helping you, your mother and others will come after you. You need to keep quiet. It's for your safety." Mia considered this. "Okay, fine. What else?" "If you agree to this," Nick continued, "you have to follow my lead. No arguments. I know how this world works. You don't. You have to trust me on that." "I'll trust you when you prove it," she said defiantly. "But don't think you can just give me orders." Nick nodded, understanding her need for boundaries. "Fair enough. Just know, if you step out of line, I'll have to make hard choices. I won't let anyone hurt you. Not even you." Mia swallowed hard, feeling the weight of that warning. "What do you mean?" His gaze hardened. "If you put yourself in danger, I won't hesitate to intervene. This isn't a game for me." "Intervene how?" She pressed, her heart racing. "By any means necessary," he replied, voice steady. "And no one gets to decide what's best for you except me and you." Mia's breath caught in her throat. She didn't like that, but she understood. The stakes were high. "What about your boss?" she asked, suddenly wary again. "I have my plans to deal with him after we're clear," Nick said, his expression firm. "But for now, we stick together. No straying, no getting caught." Mia nodded slowly, feeling the tension in the air. This was a risk, but she felt a strange sense of safety with him. "Okay, I'll follow your rules. But if you lie to me, I won't trust you again." Nick offered a small smirk. "Deal. Now, we need to get out of here before your mother catches up." As they turned to leave, a shadow moved in the distance. Mia's heart raced. They weren't alone. Someone was listening in the dark. Nick and Mia moved through the city streets, the neon lights flickering around them. They found a small cafe to catch their breath. The place was busy, people chatting and sipping coffee. Nick led Mia to a quiet corner, glancing around. "Stay close," he said, his tone serious. She nodded, still wary. As they settled in, Nick studied her. "You don't trust me, do you?" he asked, leaning back in his chair. Mia crossed her arms and raised an eyebrow. "Trust is earned, not given," she said. Nick smirked. "Fair enough, but you're here, aren't you? He kept his voice low, careful with each word. "Say it straight," he said. "No games." A small silence cut the tension. "Only because I have no choice," Mia replied, her voice steady. Nick leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "You think you're tougher than me? I can show you how weak you are." She felt a thrill at his challenge. "You think I'm afraid of you?" She shot back, her heart racing. "You have no idea who you're dealing with." She answered fast, then fell quiet. "I'm not afraid," she replied. "Not tonight." He chose the next words with care. "Maybe not," he admitted, admiring her fire, "but I know how to play this game. In public, I'm the strong one, but in private." He paused, letting the tension build. Mia felt a shiver down her spine. "What about in private?" she pressed, daring him to reveal more. He moved first, not giving anyone time to think. He checked the room and kept his back to the wall. She shook her head and took a step closer. Nick's gaze held hers, steady and intense. "In private, we can break the rules. We can explore what this is between us." He leaned closer, a dangerous look in his eyes. Mia caught her breath. "What is this?" she challenged, refusing to back down. "A game? A deal?" She stood her ground, eyes steady. She watched his hands, not his smile. They held eye contact. Neither blinked. "Maybe both," Nick said softly, leaning back again. He watched her reaction, waiting for a crack in her armor. "But I'm not your enemy. If you let me, I can show you power in a way you've never seen." Mia's heart raced, torn between curiosity and caution. "I'm not easy to seduce, you know." His lips curled into a knowing smile. Challenge accepted. But this was only the start. The gala was packed. Music played softly, and the air buzzed with chatter. Nick and Mia stepped in, dressed sharply. Nick adjusted his cufflinks, eyeing the crowd. "Stay close to me," he instructed, his voice low. Mia nodded, feeling the weight of the night ahead. They moved through the crowd, the high-end decor and fancy outfits swirling around them. Mia felt out of place, but Nick's presence steadied her. "What's the plan?" she whispered, scanning the room. Nick leaned in. "We need to find a way to connect with my boss. He's here tonight." Mia swallowed hard. "And if I can't trust him, then we'll play it by ear." He glanced around, spotting a table at the far side. "That's where we need to go." They headed toward it, weaving through the guests. Nick kept an eye out, his focus sharp. Mia noticed the tension in his shoulders. "You look like you're ready to fight," she teased. "Better safe than sorry." They reached the table. Nick nodded to a few men seated there, all wearing expensive suits. "Gentlemen," he greeted, maintaining a relaxed demeanor. Mia felt small beside him. "This is Mia," he introduced her, voice calm. "She's with me." The men exchanged glances, curiosity sparking. One of them smirked. "A new recruit, Nick. Looks like you've upgraded." Mia stiffened, ready to defend herself. But Nick shot her a warning glance. "Let's keep it professional," he said, smoothing over the tension. He leaned closer to the men, focusing on their conversation. Mia felt disconnected, the chatter blending into a dull noise. She scanned the room, trying to find the exit, feeling the pressure rise around her. Suddenly, a loud crash interrupted the conversation. A waiter had stumbled, spilling drinks everywhere. The men laughed, their attention drawn away. In that moment, Nick turned to Mia. "You okay?" His voice was soft, cutting through the chaos. She nodded, but her heart raced. "We need to move," he said, urgency creeping in. Before she could respond, Nick grasped her wrist, leading her toward the exit. But then he stopped, realizing they were too exposed. "Hold on," he murmured, glancing around. "Just act normal." Mia felt her heart pounding as she watched a figure approach. It was a woman in a sleek dress, her gaze fixed on them. Nick's grip tightened on her wrist. "Whatever happens, stay by my side." The tension in the air grew thick as the woman approached, and Mia could only wonder what would happen next. He thought he was in control. He wasn't. Nick and Mia stood by the exit, tension hanging thick around them. The woman in the sleek dress approached, her eyes narrowing. Nick let out a breath, keeping his grip on Mia firm. "Stay close," he whispered. Mia felt a knot in her stomach. She had no idea who this woman was, but Nick's demeanor changed. The air crackled with anticipation. "Nick," the woman said, her voice ice-cold. "I didn't expect to see you here." He nodded, keeping his expression neutral. "Just taking care of some business." Mia watched them closely, sensing the undercurrents. The woman's eyes flicked to her. "Who's this? Your little project?" The words dripped with disdain. Mia held her breath, ready to jump in if needed. "Something like that," Nick replied, his tone clipped. The woman smirked. "Be careful, Nick. You know how risky it is to have ties like this." Mia's heart raced at the warning. She didn't like the way they were talking. She wanted to say something to defend herself, but she stayed silent, trusting Nick's lead. The woman stepped closer, her eyes boring into Mia. "You don't know what you're getting into. This world is dangerous." Mia straightened, fighting the urge to shrink back. "I can handle myself," she shot back, surprising even herself. Nick glanced at her, a flicker of respect in his eyes. But the woman just laughed, a harsh sound that echoed around them. "Really?" she said, her voice mocking. "You think you know danger? You don't even know what you're up against." Nick's jaw tightened. "Enough, this isn't your concern," he snapped, cutting the tension with authority. The woman raised an eyebrow. "You think you can protect her? You can't save everyone, Nick. Remember that." With those words, she turned and walked away, leaving an uneasy silence. Mia looked up at Nick, confusion swirling inside her. "What did she mean?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Nick's shoulders stiffened. "It's nothing," he said too quickly, but the weight in his voice told her otherwise. "You can't just brush it off," Mia pressed. "You seem different." A flash of something crossed his face. A memory, maybe. He sighed. "It's not important. Just focus on getting out." But Mia could see the cracks forming. She knew this was only the beginning, but this was only the start. The gala buzzed around them as Nick and Mia stood near the exit. The tension lingered from the woman's warning. Nick's eyes followed her, his jaw tight. "Let's move," he said, breaking the silence. Mia nodded, her heart pounding. She wanted to ask more, but now wasn't the time. They slipped through the crowd, and Nick kept a protective hand on her back. Suddenly a loud shout cut through the noise. "Hey, you!" A man barged through the crowd, eyes locked on Nick. "What are you doing here?" The hostility in his voice sent a chill down Mia's spine. She felt Nick tense beside her, ready to react. "It's not what you think," Nick said, his tone calm but firm. Mia could sense the danger. The man took a step forward, fists clenching. "You're with her? You've got some nerve." Nick's posture shifted, becoming more defensive. "Back off, Marco! This isn't your business!" Mia's stomach twisted. She didn't know the history, but she could feel the stakes rising. "I'm making it my business," Marco shot back, his voice rising. "You think you can walk away from this?" Before Mia could process what was happening, Nick stepped in front of her. "I said back off." His voice was low, but there was a weight behind it. Marco paused, clearly weighing his options. "You think you're tough? You're just a pawn," he sneered. Mia's heart raced as she grabbed Nick's arm, trying to pull him back. "Nick, let's just go." But he didn't budge. "Not a pawn," Nick replied, his gaze steady. "I'm in charge here." His confidence flickered something inside Mia. She felt a rush of loyalty. This man was willing to face danger for her. It was a shift she hadn't expected. Marco scoffed, sizing up the situation. "You're serious? You think you can protect her?" Nick's eyes darkened. "You don't know what I'll do to keep her safe." In that moment, Nick's intensity broke through Mia's defenses. She felt a spark of connection, a bond forming. "I'm not backing down," Nick said, his voice low but filled with resolve. Marco hesitated. "You're making a mistake, Nick." But Nick didn't flinch. "No, you are." With those words, he stepped closer, ready to defend what was his. The air crackled between them, and Mia knew they wouldn't be leaving this fight unscathed. As the tension escalated, Mia felt a surge of adrenaline. She wasn't just an observer anymore. She was part of this fight. "Nick," she said, determination in her voice. "I'm with you." It was a simple statement, but it held a weight that surprised them both. The stakes had shifted, and there was no turning back now. Marco's sneer faded, replaced by a flicker of uncertainty. Would this end in violence or a fragile truce? Nick and Mia slipped out of the gala, their hearts still racing. They found a quiet alley, away from the noise and prying eyes. The city buzzed around them, but here it felt like it was just the two of them. The tension from the confrontation lingered, but something softer began to creep in. Mia leaned against the wall, trying to catch her breath. "You were incredible back there," she said, her voice low. Nick ran a hand through his hair, a small smile breaking his serious demeanor. "I just did what I had to do." She watched him, noticing how the adrenaline faded, leaving a tired but satisfied look on his face. "Still, you stood your ground," she replied, admiration evident in her tone. "It's all part of the job," Nick said, but the way he looked at her told a different story. "But you surprised me." She raised an eyebrow. "Why? Because I spoke up?" He nodded. "Not many would. You're tougher than you think." Mia felt warmth flood her chest. "Maybe I just had a good teacher." The moment hung between them, charged with an unspoken understanding. Nick took a step closer, his expression softer now, almost vulnerable. "You deserve better than this life," he said earnestly. "You shouldn't be caught up in this mess." Mia hesitated, searching his eyes. "And you? You're okay with all of this?" Nick sighed, the weight of his choices clear. "I have my reasons." "Tell me," she prompted, leaning in. Nick glanced around, ensuring they were still alone. "I did some terrible things, but I'm trying to change." Mia felt a thrill at his honesty. "What if you can't?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "What if it's too late?" His gaze locked onto hers, intense and searching. "Then I need to make sure you're safe. That's my priority." Their faces were inches apart now, the world around them fading. She could feel the heat between them, the tension thickening. "Nick," she breathed, her heart pounding. "What if—" But before she could finish, Nick closed the distance. Their lips almost touched, but then he paused. "Mia," he murmured, his breath warm against her skin. She held her breath, waiting for what came next. But this was only the start. Mia and Nick stood in the alley, the tension still crackling between them. Nick's gaze held hers, and for a moment it felt like the world was just them. But then his phone buzzed in his pocket, cutting through the moment. He pulled it out and glanced at the screen. His face hardened. "What is it?" Mia asked, concern creeping in. Nick didn't answer right away. He swiped the screen and scanned a message. "It's from my boss," he muttered, his voice low. "He wants to meet, now. Are you going to go?" Mia felt a knot tighten in her stomach. Whatever it was, it didn't sound good. Nick hesitated, his mind racing. "I have to," he finally said, his tone heavy. "But I can't leave you here alone." "I can come with you, I'm fine," she insisted, but he shook his head. "No, it's too dangerous." He looked around, then back at her. "Stay put. I'll be back soon." But Mia wasn't convinced. Something felt off. "Nick, wait!" she called as he turned to leave. Suddenly, a shadow moved behind him. Mia's heart dropped. "Nick, behind you!" A figure lurked in the darkness, holding something shiny. Nick spun around just as the person lunged. He pushed Mia back, taking the brunt of the attack. The two struggled, fists flying, and Mia screamed, "Stop!" It didn't take long for Nick to gain the upper hand. He pinned the attacker to the ground. "Who sent you?" he growled. But the figure smirked, eyes glinting. "You'll never find out, but there's a message for you." In a swift motion, he pulled out a document from his pocket and tossed it at Nick. It landed close to Mia. She leaned down, picking it up. As she read it, her heart raced. "Nick, it's all here. Your past, everything. They know." Nick's eyes widened as he took the paper from her, his expression shifting. "What the hell?" The attacker wriggled free, but Nick's attention was locked on the document. This changes everything. The weight of betrayal hung in the air like a thick fog. Did Nick have allies, or was this just the beginning of something darker? Mia watched Nick's face as he read the document. His expression shifted from shock to anger. "They know everything," he muttered, crumpling the paper in his fist. "I can't let this get out." The weight of those words hung over them. Mia stepped closer, her heart pounding. "What do we do now?" Nick shook his head. "I have to deal with this. I can't bring you into it." Pain shot through her. "But I'm already involved, Nick. You can't just push me away." He looked at her, frustration etched on his face. "You don't understand. This isn't safe for you." He kept his voice low, careful with each word. "Say it straight," he said. "No games." A small silence cut the tension. Mia took a deep breath. "You think I'm scared? You think I'd run?" Nick's gaze softened for a moment, but he quickly steeled himself. "It's not about fear. It's about protecting you." She felt her pride crumbling. "And what about us? You're just going to walk away?" She answered fast, then fell quiet. "I'm not afraid," she replied. "Not tonight." He chose the next words with care. He ran a hand through his hair, clearly torn. "It's not like that. I just need time to figure this out." Her voice trembled. "Time? This feels like you're shutting me out." Nick turned away, his jaw tight. "It's for your own good." He moved first, not giving anyone time to think. He checked the room and kept his back to the wall. "Mia, please," he said finally, his voice low. "I can't drag you into my mess. You deserve a normal life." Each word cut deeper. "But I want to be with you. I thought we had something real." Her eyes glistened. Nick hesitated, pain flashing across his face. "It's too dangerous. I won't let you get hurt." She stood her ground, eyes steady. She watched his hands, not his smile. Silence fell between them, heavy and suffocating. Mia stepped back, feeling the distance grow. "So this is it then? You're just going to walk away?" Nick clenched his fists, staring at the ground. "I have to go. I can't risk you." With that, he turned and walked away, leaving Mia alone in the dark alley. She felt the walls closing in, the weight of his absence sinking in. Would they ever find their way back to each other? Nick stared at the crumpled document in his hand. Anger boiled inside him. "I can't let this get out," he muttered. Mia stood close, worry flickering in her eyes. "What do you mean by get out?" she asked, her voice steady despite the fear. "It means I'm in deeper trouble than I thought," Nick replied, his jaw clenched. He needed a plan. "I'll deal with Marco and whoever sent that guy," he said, looking straight at Mia. "You're ensuring your safety first." Her frustration bubbled over. "You think I can just sit here? I want to help, Nick." He shook his head, stepping back. "You can't help this time. It's too dangerous for you." She crossed her arms, refusing to back down. "Look, I've made mistakes. I need to fix this," Nick said, his tone firm. "I'm willing to sacrifice whatever it takes." She raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean? Your power, your money?" He nodded. "If it means keeping you safe, I will." Mia's heart sank. "But you built this life. Are you really willing to let it all go?" "Every bit of it," he replied, the weight of his decision clear. "I can't be the man I was and keep you. You deserve better." He took a deep breath. "I'll meet with my boss. I'll confront Marco. It's time I stop playing their game." Mia stepped closer, her resolve matching his. "Then let me be there. I won't let you face this alone." "No," he insisted. "You need to stay out of this. Just promise me you'll be safe." She felt the ache in her chest. "I can't promise that if you're in danger." Nick didn't argue. He turned, his mind racing with tactics. "Stay put. I'll be back soon," he said before heading toward the alley exit. Mia watched him go, her mind spinning. She felt the weight of his choices pressing down on her. What if he didn't come back? She had to do something. Sinking against the wall, she pulled out her phone. "You can't just leave me out of this," she whispered to herself. She knew she had to find a way to help him, no matter the cost. He thought he was in control. He wasn't. Mia paced the alley, anxiety bubbling inside her. Nick was gone, leaving her restless. She couldn't just wait. Her mind raced with thoughts of him confronting Marco. What if things went wrong? What if he didn't come back? She pulled out her phone again, hesitating before dialing his number. It rang once, then went to voicemail. "Nick, please be careful," she whispered before hanging up. Just then, she heard footsteps. Her heart jumped. Was it him? But it was just a couple of drunks stumbling by, laughing loudly. She sighed, rubbing her temples. She needed to think. Nick had said he was protecting her, but it felt more like he was shutting her out. "I can handle this," she muttered to herself, determination filling her. After a moment, she made up her mind. She would follow him. Pulling her coat tighter, she stepped onto the street. She moved through the shadows, keeping her distance. Nick had headed toward an old warehouse on the outskirts of town. The air felt thick with tension. She could sense something big was about to happen. She needed to be there. As she drew closer, she spotted Nick outside, arguing with a group of men. The moonlight caught the anger in his expression. "I'm not backing down, Marco!" he yelled. Mia's heart raced. She had to get closer. Quietly, she slipped behind a parked car, trying to hear their conversation. "You think you can just walk away?" Marco sneered. "You owe me, Nick." Mia clenched her fists. Nick was standing his ground, but she could see the fear behind his bravado. Suddenly, he looked around, his eyes scanning the street. Did he sense her? "This isn't just about you anymore," Nick said, his voice low but steady. "You've crossed the line." Marco laughed, but it wasn't friendly. "You think you can take me on? You're nothing without your old life." Mia felt the heat of anger rise within her. She couldn't let Nick face this alone. She stepped out from her hiding spot. "Nick!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the night. The men turned, surprise painted on their faces. "Get back!" Nick yelled, panic flashing in his eyes. "No, I'm not going anywhere!" She shot back, standing her ground. "You don't have to do this alone." Nick glanced back at her, a mix of fear and admiration in his gaze. Would he finally understand that love meant standing together? The tension hung heavy in the air. Nick clenched his jaw as he faced Marco, fists balled at his sides. "This isn't just about me," he said slowly. "You don't get to decide." Mia stood firm beside him, her eyes locked on Marco. She could feel Nick's tension shifting. He was ready to fight. "You really think you can protect her?" Marco scoffed, glancing at Mia. "She'll only get hurt." "No," Mia shouted, stepping forward. "I'm not scared of you. I'm more than just a pawn in his game." Nick looked at her, surprise mixed with worry. "Mia, get back!" he urged, but she shook her head. "I can handle this." The air crackled with energy. Marco's men looked uncertain, glancing at each other. "You've made a mistake, Nick," Marco warned, his smile darkening. Nick took a deep breath, signaling to Mia with a nod. "Then let's end this." He stepped closer, shoulders squared. "You're not going to use me anymore, Marco. I'm done." Mia's heart raced. She felt a surge of strength beside him. "Let's take this somewhere else," she said, glancing at Marco. "You want a fight? Let's go." Her voice was steady, but inside she was shaking. Marco's eyes narrowed. "You think you can walk away?" He spat. Nick and Mia exchanged a look. "Together," he said softly. They stepped toward Marco, a united front. "Together," she echoed. The men hesitated, sensing the shift in power. "You two think you can take on all of us?" Marco sneered, but doubt flickered in his eyes. There was a moment of stillness. Then Nick lunged forward, catching Marco off guard. The others rushed in, and chaos erupted. Mia fought alongside Nick, adrenaline pumping. She threw a punch, surprising herself. They moved as one, backing each other up, refusing to let the other fall. It felt liberating, like they were finally breaking free. When the dust settled, Marco was on the ground, defeated. Nick turned to Mia, panting. "We did it," he breathed. She smiled, relief washing over her. "We did." They stood close, the weight of their shared battle lifting. It felt like a new beginning, a promise of something brighter. Nick took her hand, squeezing it tightly. "I won't let anyone come between us again." Did you ever think about how love can change everything? Mia asked, her eyes sparkling. I guess we found our strength together. Nick nodded, his expression softening.